Welcome back to Moore's Refinishing. I'm Aaron Moore, and on this channel, you're going to find tips, tricks, and techniques to help you with your furniture refinishing. On today's episode, you're going to want to stay tuned because an Eames chair that we restored about 2 weeks ago just came back from the upholstery shop, and you're going to want to see how it turned out. On today's episode, we're going to start with another question from one of you that I received last night. What type of stain do you guys use in the shop? Really easy. We're just about to work on a project and I'll show you what we do. Let's go. So if you remember these Paul Frankel nightstands that we've been working on, we have one that we're just doing a few repairs. We restored it maybe a year or so ago, but now you see number two, this one with the 3 drawers is all ready for stain, sanded, prepped. Ivan worked his butt off on these. There were a lot of damage on it. Now they're perfect. They're ready to go. And what we do, let me hop over here on this table. We really prefer 75% of the pieces in here, we clean it with acetone, wipe it, put it in the spray booth, and seal it naturally, because that's what most of my customers want. The other 25%, we use Mohawk products. Same thing, wiping wood stain. This is the 545 models. These are the ones we use, because they're a lot more liquid based. They used to have a 240 series. It was only a California type of stain. They stopped making it. We're just stuck with basically the 545. It's oil based, and I said it's potent. You're going to want to wear a mask when you use this. Wear gloves, but once you're done, wipe your arm with some acetone. You can take that stain right off. Even warm water and some soap. So what we're going to do is open this up, get it mixed up thoroughly, and start putting it on those pieces. Don't forget, to buy any of these products, you can go to woodrepairproducts.com or visit them, in person in the city of Orange, California, and make sure to use the code MORE5OFF with the number 5. You're going to save 5% at checkout. I don't make any money off of that. It's just a way for the people on this channel, people on this page, get a little bit of a discount because I shop there so much. They wanted to give back and get you to start purchasing from them as well. We were just talking this morning, I had to run by, and they were talking about another store that sells Mohawk products, was selling these spray cans, the little aerosol cans, for almost $30 for one can. At Wood Repair Products, I think it was like $10.55 is what he told me. So I said, they have the best prices because they buy in such large quantities. Just make sure to like I said, use that code MORE5OFF. I'll put it down in the comments or the description down below. Okay, I got it mixed up thoroughly. I can feel the bottom of the can now. There's nothing else on there. What I'm going to do, grab my first drawer. I'm going to do this carefully because you don't want to stain any more than you have to. What we're really trying to do is, because of the way the solid wood plywood was built, you have a really light end grain here, which some people will veneer that with the mahogany or walnut. Other manufacturers like this one just left it raw. So what we're really doing is staining it just for that to get us closer to the natural color. And then we're going to tone it and play with it as we progress in the process. So we're going to wipe it off of the mahogany though. We don't want to have it sit on the mahogany too long. We're not trying to change the color of that much. But at this top, we're going to just let it sit there, just as you see. I'm going to actually stain the back edge. And you can see that it's kind of ugly, so I'll stain that. And I'll come on this side. And I'll stain this back edge nice and clean. And you can see the color difference. Like I said, we're going to wipe that off right away because we don't want to take too much, because when we play with the toners will start darkening and playing with it as we need. With this middle, let me come back on this side. With this middle, you can see it. I think it's beech, if I remember right. It's beech or a maple. Super light. We will tone this a little bit in the process, where you'll see us taping it up with paper and tape to protect it, so that way, because the customer doesn't really want this much of a two-tone. It's still going to be subtle, it's still going to have the two-tone appearance, but this is pretty contrasty. A lot of my customers don't want that contrast anymore. So we're going to wipe it off real quickly. Just as one last swoop, I'm going to just hit this top edge one more time. Let that sit for an hour or so, and then we can get these in the spray booth. That's the beauty about using this 545 versus gel stains or even the 240. This one, as long as you have proper airflow or put it in the booth with some fans, this stuff will dry as soon as it's dry to the touch. You can put it in the spray booth. Really nice. If you kind of come in close, you could see as like we apply what that color is of that mahogany. It's such a beautiful wood that they used on this one. My guess would be that these were Filipino mahogany, or it could be Honduran is my guess. I don't know for sure. I know it's not the African mahogany because of the grain structure on it is way too nice for being the African mahogany. There is a difference. Same thing, we're going to let this one dry. I'm going to kind of continue on finishing the last drawer and the cabinet frame, and then so then we'll pop up and I want to show you that table from yesterday that needs stain as well from Morgan. It's a massive, I think 10-foot dining table. It's huge. Now that the Paul Frankel nightstands are stained, I could hop on this dining table, and like I mentioned, it's about 10 feet. It is solid walnut on all the legs and like a walnut plywood across the top. I said, really came in great shape. Mainly had that big stain, 2 or 3 scratches. I don't even think I put epoxy anywhere. I think that this one was pretty flawless. But what we're going to do, I'm going to probably start staining with the leaves first. We'll do one at a time and work our way kind of just around the whole table. And now that I'm saying that, I don't know if I need to, because I don't need to stain this edge. I may be able to just turn the table and just kind of stain it just like this, so that way all the color goes on evenly. I may do that. Like, I'll get Ivan, help me turn it, and I think I'm going to do it that way. So like you see in all my other videos, I like to stain around the perimeter first. So I'll hit this edge, then kind of work my way around, knowing, like I said, I know the color. We're going to wipe on, wipe off really quick. And then it does come underneath. So if you remember, these had a rounded edge, like a little radius. I'm making sure to hit that as well. Because just what you need is when you get back to the customer's house, you flip it over to show them, and there's a big stain spot missing on the bottom. Trust me, it's happened to me. It's embarrassing. That's one of the spots that you're gonna, you're gonna remember those situations. You're not gonna want to do that again. So when a customer looks at it and kind of calls you out, you're going to be embarrassed, or at least you should be embarrassed. And then you're going to want to fix it for every other customer from here on out. All the little things I do are for a reason. It's because I've gotten in trouble with them from the customers. Over the years, the last 15 years, it's like, well, I made that mistake. I won't do that mistake again. Now we really rarely have mistakes. So which is, when they do happen, I'll make sure to document them here and teach you guys how to get out of them. Just like that video from yesterday with that black chair, you remember, like, I didn't do the damage, but somebody cleaned it. The person who delivered it wiped it down with a dirty rag, accidentally scratched it, but what it took 5 minutes to repair it. That's something that not a lot of other refinishers know how to do. Hence the reason I created this channel. Start guiding you guys in your process even more. I want to see you all succeed. Now that the perimeter is all stained, it's ready to go. Now I can go across the top, knowing that it's all, as long as you don't have any drips, you are fine. So I said same thing like you're painting. I like to go, just overlap passes. That way you're not just doing, crazy patterns and, things of that nature. I'll show you. So make sure you hit this edge too, so make sure there's nothing that dripped underneath. But what I see a lot of you doing is I'll see somebody like stain like this and they kind of go all over the place. There's the little fibers in the wood that you're gonna miss a little spot here and there, and then you go to spray it, this light color of wood is gonna show off, and it's gonna really it's gonna look bad. So I said the easiest way is just to properly overlap. It's a big table, so that way, for one, you're watching your placement every time. And then when you're overlapping, you know that these sections are getting hit. But I'm only doing a little bit at a time because I'm not trying to change the color of this piece as well. I'm just trying to get them to be a little bit more even in color. So I said just slowly work around. Keep an eye on these edges as well. Make sure nothing dripped, like I keep mentioning. So we just continue on. The nice thing about this stain too is that if you wanted to leave it on as this darker color that you're seeing it, being applied with, you could just do this. You could just carefully go on and just let it sit there and dry. It's not going to have any reactions. It's not going to cause any issues. A lot of stains, if you leave them on that wet, they may take days or even weeks to dry, and that's how you're going to have your adhesion issues. Your stain's not going to hold up. You might have stuff not stick properly. I know a friend that has issues with the staining as well, and I don't know if it's with something that they use on the raw wood, if it's the sealer, like there's some issue. But if you just follow these steps, strip it, sand it, stain it, and then put it in the spray booth, you are good to go. You could use any type of finish you want. We prefer the Finisher's Choice lacquer. I have another video on that about why we choose that over polyurethane. Go back to the catalog and you'll see that video. Most people at home don't know much about lacquer or are just a little scared to use it. And there's nothing to be scared about. Like it's not hard to use. It's one of the easiest products in my opinion, maybe over like oiling. Oiling's a little easier because all you have to do is wipe it on and wipe it off. But I don't feel it offers as long-term protection. Lacquer will hold up. Same thing, this table showed up in pretty decent shape. And this table came in, and this is probably from the mid-70s, so 50 plus years old, and it was in great shape. The lacquer was pretty good. It was just the fading and then that stain that was really the issue. So I said, if you want to learn more about spraying lacquer and all the ins and outs, pro tips, you could download or even purchase a copy of my refinishing guide. Or go over to the reviveandrefine.com. I have it for sale up there. You could, if you don't want to spend the money on the entire physical book, we have a digital download as well. So you could download it, keep it on your computer. And I've had many people send me messages about the PDF. The PDF is great because you could keyword search in your computer, stripping, sanding, whatever you're having issues with, you could find everything about that topic in the PDF, which I didn't even know it was even a possibility. Like I mentioned before, I'm not that tech savvy. So we'll get this buttoned up and we're going to let it dry for an hour or two and get it in the spray booth. I know you've been watching and following along on that Eames lounge chair restoration. Well, we just got it back from Luis over from Universal Upholstery over in Laguna Beach. He just brought it back this afternoon. Take a step back, come take a look at the restoration. What do you guys think? Every inch of this piece has been fully, meticulously restored. We've gotten new leather, which is a really unique color that you're not going to find on any other Eames lounge chairs. She picked it out. She wanted something bold and unique. As you can see, the backside, all the metal has been cleaned up, polished. The shock mounts were already replaced on this one, if you remember. This is the one that has the shock mounts that have some screws in them. So work our way around. Actually put in all 5 new sliders, but this was one of the first one that's happened to me. 2 of them were seized and they were stuck underneath, and I had to figure out how to get them out without destroying the threads, breaking the screw, or damaging the piece itself. Like I said, it's been fully restored. We're getting ready to load it back up in a few days. We have to take it all the way to San Francisco. I don't know if I'm going to be delivering it or getting a shipper involved. But like I said, right now it's raining Eames chairs. We have one right here fully restored, and then we have the shock mounts that we're going to replace and get out of here in a couple days. So we love working on Eames chairs here at the shop. Let me know what you think down below. I'm really proud of this restoration. Okay, this piece of glass is what I'm going to work on first. I wanted to show this before jumping on the Eames chair. But we sprayed the black last night. What I wanted to do is catch it on camera of me removing this tape, because I just felt like documenting. If it screws up, then it'll be on camera and I can show you guys. But that's why, if you notice, this orange tape that we use, This is a pinstriping tape made for automotive painting, racing stripes, pinstripes, those kind of things. And it works really well for sharp lines and then paint removal. But the trick here is to pull the tape away. So you see I'm pulling it away from my line. If I peeled it up the opposite direction, it's possible that this will take the paint with it and, and ruin our nice sharp line. Like I mentioned, I don't paint glass, so this is a first. I wouldn't say it's a first. It's a rare thing that happens in here. So it's situations like this that I want to document that, hey, we might mess it up. Even like I said, even the yellow tape that I'm going to pull away from there, I'm making sure to go opposite of the, the direction of the paint, because it's still possible that this will peel it up as well. So just go slow. You do this if you're working on a lot of stuff with multicolors. This is a trick that you're going to need to use, as well as this tape. This pinstriping tape is going to really work wonders for a lot of you doing two tones or those custom designs. Beautiful. So I'm 30% of the way there. So we'll go all the way around it and see if I can nail it, get it right. We got all that tape and paper off perfectly. Everything's nice and square. As you can see, it's the perfect shape in the same exact location as the green that's underneath. What I'm going to do is leave it here on this table until we get the new side panels that are being recreated. The glass shop, their supplier, has now messed them up twice. I don't know what's going on there. They should have been done a week ago, but that's the way it is. That's why we're not in a hurry. We'll just wait for that. Then we could flip this glass back over, set it on the legs, and then give you a grand reveal of that desk. Like I mentioned, it's about a $25,000 desk if you sell it on some of these big websites. So I can't wait to show you. This is progress. We're getting it done. Now let's jump back on that Eames chair. Things are just progressing here. We're getting stuff done today. We're knocking stuff out, getting our checklist done. And another one that I want to knock out is this beauty here with the new shock mounts. This is one of them that we replaced yesterday. As you can see, when you look at it, the glue is not all messed up. It looks nice and clean, uniform. Now it's time to make up some more and do it on the opposing side. I've already marked the template out, knowing where it's going to go. So now I'm going to mix up the epoxy. One really important tip that I could give you that we started doing a few years ago: keep your cardboard from the day before. Then you could test the glue, make sure that it's fully cured. I had it years ago that it took like 3 days for it to fully cure. I must have not mixed the ratio properly. Ever since then, I keep this. It's dry. We know it's good. Now I can throw it away, get a fresh one for today, and start mixing this guy up. Okay, we've got it all mixed up. And if you want all of this, these tips and techniques on these shock mounts, like I had mentioned yesterday, we have a 45-minute video behind a paywall inside my private community. So if you join that private community, it's $15 a month to be a part of a group of 100 plus refinishers and growing. And we're all talking about tips, tricks, things that we know. Like, people are asking me for help for projects. An Eames chair being a lot of them. Like, a lot of people asking about how these repairs are done. And like I said, Ivan and I, we made a 45, 48-minute video teaching you every step of this process and the touch-ups as well, the blending in. The one that we did had people drilled holes in the side to hold these shock mounts. So it was a bigger repair job than your average like this one. These are just common. We see these happen all the time. They come in. My recommendation is, if you're a refinisher or somebody who has one of these and the customer has one break off, you should do all four. They're just, I call them time bombs. Eventually the other ones are just going to fail. And for one, you don't want anyone to get hurt. If they fall and break, someone could get hurt. Or, like on a lot of cases, they'll snap the wing off and then the chair is totaled. So, maybe a, $700, $800 repair to get these fixed, but it's worth it when you have a $8,000 to $10,000 chair. You don't want that to screw up. So, and I said, now you can see I've got a good layer on the bottom side of this I wasn't as clean with this one, so I'm doing a little wipe down. Normally, I do tape these up. If you watch other videos, especially that video I'm talking about in the community, we'll usually tape them up, but I don't know if it's something in the rubber this time or just my luck of the tape. It doesn't want to stick to this. Duct tape doesn't even want to stick. So it just may be a little oily from the manufacturing. Maybe they put something on the surface. Who knows? But either way, it's not holding up. Now I just have to be a little bit cleaner with it. So we'll get this one placed so it dries overnight. And then we can come back tomorrow and hopefully get this chair reassembled. I said just keeping this guy clean. This will take you time to learn. I said it was probably 3 or 4 of them before I really mastered this. Now now it's just routine. Now we know how to remove it, how to keep this epoxy clean. Luckily, it doesn't dry for 24 hours. So you have some working time. It's not like you have to rush. You start using 5-minute epoxy on repairs, you're really going to have to work fast. This one here, just take your time because it's not going to cure for, like I said, 18 to 24 hours. So as long as it's clean when we leave today, we will be good to go. So go back and I could see my line that I traced. It looks beautiful. I'm going to give it one more little push like I like to do because it just lets it squeeze out just a little bit, which is very similar to what it would have had originally. And then you can kind of tell how much epoxy is there, because I mentioned in this long video that you want a little bit of a layer in between. So you do not want to use clamps, squeeze it all out, then there's no epoxy left to hold on to this shock mount. Someone sits in it, it could fall right off. You want just say a 32nd of an inch, maybe is a good number, of this epoxy sitting there, because it'll be the layer of your wood, the veneer, then you'll have the layer of the epoxy holding on to the metal on the back of these shock mounts. So like I said, that's going to hold up a lot better than just trying to put tape on it, or not tape, but like a clamp, squeezing it. You're going to want to do that. I think I tried to do that originally, but they told me not to. Once I did, when I did the first one, like I said, I just started working on these maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I've been doing this for 20, but I have not worked on these for that long of time. We're going to let that compressor kick off, and then we'll be back. In the spray booth, and as you can see behind me, we've already sealed up those Paul Frankel nightstands. They're sitting, drying, waiting for tomorrow. But what I'm going to do now is I have some sealer in the gun. We're going to get some sealer going on Morgan's big 10-foot walnut dining table. We're going to do that so it dries overnight. We can come back tomorrow, sand it, and spray a second coat. So once again, put your mask on. Most important inside your spray booth. I wear headphones. You see what I have here. I'm listening to music or podcasts. But it's good ear protection against the sound of the booth, the air compressor, all of the above. So as you can see, we just put our first like 3 or 4 coats on the top of this, and inside of this gun, on the the canister, there was about 24 or 26 ounces of finish. This is why I recommend getting into HVLB spray guns. Stop using the spray cans, because I've been told there's only 3.5 to 5 ounces per spray can, and that way, I said, you're going to save money. Doing it like this is much better for the customer. You're going to get a better finish. All of those things are reasons why I always recommend buying it in the gallon, shooting it. We're gonna let this dry out for 5 or 10 minutes, come back, shoot it again the same way you just saw, and then we're gonna let that dry overnight. As you can see, then at that point, there'll be close to, say, 50 ounces of finish on this table. We'll come back, sand it tomorrow with 320, and then we'll tone it a little bit. I don't think we have any touch-ups or repairs. We'll see about that tomorrow, and then we'll get it in for a coat of final maybe on Thursday morning, possibly tomorrow afternoon if we could double spray if the temperature allows for that. So I said we'll hop out, we'll do one more thing, and come back in just a bit. Okay, we just got that done. We're gonna let that dry. If you feel like I've given you any value in this video, if you've learned something new, just make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps with the algorithm, gets this channel to be seen by many more people, and helps the art of restoration to grow and help me teach you. We'll see you guys tomorrow.